From my point of view, what's going on is the world, so all of the 6-7 billion people are collectively going through a profound social transformation, what some people like to call a paradigm shift. The prisms through which we see the world is transforming. The root, the basis, the foundation of so much of the varied crises that make up our world is that we're going through a major shift in how we understand the world. Once upon a time, almost everybody thought the world was flat. They really thought it. The world has a history of changing its understanding of the very world in which we live and of the people who we live in it with. The world has gone through a transformative philosophical process with changes of paradigms of how we understand and how we see. The Enlightenment is becoming, in my opinion, less and less dominant, but it is still sufficiently dominant to place us in the position of working in a new world, a changed world, with old tools, with conceptual tools that cannot work. What must be transformed is our very way of thinking about education. It's our very way of thinking about human growth. It's our very way of thinking about political growth. One of the spokespersons of that Enlightenment thing put it so eloquently, a fellow named Bishop Butler. We are what we are, and not another thing. But that's not true. Because, as Vygotsky has pointed out and others have pointed out, we are what we are, to be sure, even as we are what we are becoming. And that understanding have led some psychologists following Vygotsky to create whole new approaches to education and learning and growth, which are working for more and more children and more people throughout the world. I mean, one of the most amazing things to study, and we all know this, not because we're necessarily scientists or psychologists, but because we've seen children. And we see the extraordinary phenomena of children learning, of children developing, of children growing. Well, that kind of development takes place on a mass scale as well. Peoples develop, peoples grow, the species develops, the species grow.
Thanks, Fred, for giving us the tools to build the All-Stars. At the All-Stars, we're all about after-school development. Young people grow, expand their world, and create new opportunities for themselves and their families. And now a growing number of academics, advocates, activists, civic and business leaders have come to believe that development is the key, performance is the tool, and becoming is the vision. Let's hear from some of these champions of after-school development.
And one of the things that I am very proud of being associated with the All-Stars project is the direction that this incredible group of people have taken in order to do a paradigm shift.
But the position that I'm going to lay out, I think, hopefully today, as we talk about this, is that in fact there's another road to reducing inequality and reducing poverty, and that entails taking on inequalities of opportunity. Inequalities of opportunity.
So old dialogues, old debates, old arguments, while I want to honor the past, are not as relevant to the future. And that's why this is important, and we need to create new models.
All Stars teaches you, young people, to develop yourselves through performance theory by pretending to do things you never imagined possible.
We all have to work hard to perform our lives. Nothing comes without rehearsal and practice. But sharing the creation of who you are becoming with families and friends eases the process a whole lot.
Because it takes courage to go places where most Americans won't go, to identify problems that most people overlook, and to have the courage to go into those places and begin to provide opportunities for young people to love themselves, to love who they are, to love their families, to love their communities, and actually strive in places that are long forgotten by many Americans.
I don't think poverty is personal. I think it's social. I think it's political. I think people do have the capacity to grow in the midst of crises.
What must be transformed is our very way of thinking about education. It's our very way of thinking about human growth.